and for this video we've got this Jaguar F-Pace SUV. Now, do I really need to say it's an SUV? Because let's be honest, basically every single new car seems to be an SUV. So in this very crowded segment, it's very hard to be distinguished and unique. But with the F-Pace, Jaguar have really tried to do that. So the range has now been simplified and now starts with the aerodynamic S. So what that means is that every single Jaguar F-Pace you choose will always have a sporty exterior look, with aerodynamic badges on the front grille, lower and sportier design on the front bumpers, and it also comes with a black exterior pack as well. And you know, you have to agree, it does look very purposeful indeed. We've got signature LED headlights that are nicely the daytime run lights nicely incorporate into the main beams which are inside here, and they also include dynamic indicators as standard across the front and the rear of the car, so it certainly looks like a very modern vehicle. Now you've got to remember that the Jaguar F-Pace was released back in 2016, and although the exterior looks relatively different, most of the differences are in the inside, as it is totally transformed, and transformed for the better, that is. So join us whilst we take a really nice look at this Jaguar F-Pace SUV, talk about some of the things we like, some of the things we don't like, and some of those really cool features that make this F-Pace unique. Down the side you can see that it's got a very athletic silhouette with this slowly rising belt line here and a very strong haunches that I think make the vehicle look very solid and very safe. And actually all the doors do have a really nice solid reassuring thud about them. Now if we walk past these gorgeous looking 22-inch alloy wheels, now I might just add that this particular vehicle we've got here is the aerodynamic SE, which is the middle specification vehicle. But this has actually gone for the upgraded 22-inch wheels, obviously black, look very sporty, but the usual aerodynamic SE comes with 20-inch wheels. But despite being so large, the ride comfort is not adversely affected at all. It's actually a really comfortable car, but that might be because these tyres are designed specifically for Jaguar and Land Rover, so they've really fine-tuned and engineered them to be a very nice balance to the vehicle. Around the back of the F-Pace you can see it's got a very sort of steeply raked windscreen rear window, however it does come standard with the reversing camera, so you do not need to worry about that so much, and the visibility isn't actually awful compared to some cars, so do not get concerned about that too much. Despite being a turbo diesel Jaguar F-Pace we have here, there are no visible exhausts because obviously they're hidden underneath. This is kind of a look that a lot of car manufacturers, including Volvo, are going for these days. They're sort of hinting that the cars are potentially a bit cleaner than they actually are. But no, of course, despite being a diesel, it is of course Euro 6 compliant, so you can drive through all the ultra low emission zones without paying a single penny. Inside the boot, electronic tailgate, of course. You know, it's a really nice wide and deep load space as well. There's quite a lot of height there, so you can get very large items in. Lovely features we got as well, such as really strong feeling tie down points, net there, some hooks, and there's even a 12-volt socket just over there as well, so there's plenty of sort of lovely convenience features. Now underneath we do not have a spare wheel on this car, just an inflation kit, but you still got some nice bits of storage here as well. Just to note quickly, you can choose a plug-in hybrid Jaguar F-Pace badged P400E. Now that has a reduced boot capacity due to the batteries being located under the boot floor. So when you open the boot, there's actually a slight raise like this, and then it flattens out. So going for the diesel or one of the conventional petrol options allows you to have the maximum luggage capacity. And also, when the seats are folded flat, you get a completely flat load bay. So there's no compromise there at all. And if you're feeling really, really fancy and you want to treat your dog to the best treatment, the Jaguar treatment, let's say, for £999, you can specify a pack that's called the Extended Pet Pack, which includes a foldable pet carrier, a portable rinse system. So that means after they come back from that muddy walk, you can rinse them off, which is just incredible. Even a spill-resistant water bowl and a quilted load space liner. So if you want to treat your Labrador to the Jaguar treatment, then you well can do. Now, as you'd expect, there needs to be plenty of space inside the rear of the F-Pace SUV. And although it's not the most roomy in terms of leg room, this seat here, for instance, is set for a 6-footer, and there is plenty of space. And headroom, I'm also 6 foot, and there's just enough headroom there as well. But because the seats are set slightly higher than the ones in front, you get a really, really nice view out of the front. It does feel really nice and airy as well. And panoramic sunroof does come as standard on the R-Dynamic SE specification, like we have on this car here. And obviously the seats do look really, really nice with lovely white stitching, and they do look a very high quality, and of course they do look immaculate. But then this car, at the time of filming, is just 4 months old with only 1,500 miles on it on the clock. In terms of technology, in the middle here we've got 2 USB-C ports and a conventional 12-volt socket, and a very undeep storage tray, so you're not going to get very much in there, but I guess it's still nice to have it as well. And a very comfortable, conveniently located centre armrest with 2 cup holders. So yeah, there's certainly nothing to complain about in the rear of the F-Pace SUV. And I do also love the attention to detail, because actually the quality back here, just like the front, is really, really nice. So on the doors you've all got really nice soft touch materials, lovely aluminium inlays advertising the Meridian sound system, which comes as standard on the R-Dynamic SE and above. And yet the quality really, really is top notch. And even right down here, for instance, it's not horrible scratchy, it's still really nice plush filling material. So here we are up front of the Jaguar F-Pace, and for anyone that remembers or has sat in the sort of older generation F-Pace, which of course shared the same sort of chassis, etc., but had a much older style interior, and that felt a lot lower quality than this one here does today, and involves sort of a lot more hard touch plastic around the smaller central infotainment display. That said, however, this car now starts at over £48,000 for the R-Dynamic S, and back in 2016, like most cars, it was a lot cheaper back then, starting at around sort of £36,000. However, today it comes with much higher specification than it did back then. So, like most cars, everything's gone up in price. But that said, the quality in here is absolutely exemplary. I love the white stitching that's incorporated into the interior of the car, and it sort of continues across the dash on top of the doors. It looks really, really lovely indeed. And I suppose sort of the party piece of the interior is this crystal clear 11.4 inch central infotainment display, and it has everything that you want, and it's really, really responsive, and the graphics are excellent and does everything that you want to. But I love the fact that they still retained the functional and utilitarian dials down here to control your 2-zone climate control, so I'm very, very happy about that. We've also got a redesigned gear selector here, start stop button, and a volume knob. That is not an actual dial, it's a little rotary thing, but that enables you to go from high volume to low volume extremely quickly, which is really nice. So as well as this crystal clear 11.4 inch display here, we've got these lovely crystal clear driver dials in front of the driver, and the graphics are excellent, which means the rev counter, there's no delay at all, and it really is crystal clear. And if I pop it into dynamic mode, you'll see how the graphics changed to this beautiful red colour. It looks very, very sporty indeed, which obviously Jaguar wants you to feel that, because a Jaguar brand has always had a sporting sort of background and heritage to the brand, so having this is really a nice nod to that. And above the driver here, we've got this very, very nice heads-up display, which looks really, really nice. And when you're in dynamic mode like we are now, you get a rev counter included on it as well. The steering wheel is also extremely, extremely nice. It feels lovely, it looks very futuristic, and it also looks really sporty as well. Got these touch sensitive buttons, but despite sort of having a bit of hesitation towards them at the start, they actually work really, really nicely, and you don't accidentally hit them whilst you're driving. What's really, really nice, as we've got these very, very large flappy paddles just here, and they feel really solid and they feel very premium. So yeah, the interior of the Jaguar F-Pace is really, really exemplary. And obviously I mentioned here, you've got the Meridian sound system like I mentioned in the back. This particular one, the R-Dynamic SE, has a 400 watt sound system, and it does sound really impressive. And of course it comes with electrically adjustable front driver's seat and passenger seat as standard. Now, this part of the video was just to show you this lovely panoramic sunroof above me here, but I was going to talk about how nice it is to have the Jaguar logo embossed into the rear seats, and also take a moment to talk about the quality of the headlining in the vehicle. It feels really, really beautiful, certainly a lot nicer than what's in some other cars as well. But the actual sunroof here looks like a traditional sort of fixed sunroof, but it does open, tilt and opens, and it doesn't go as far back as what it looks like it does, but it still reveals a decently sized area so you can enjoy the fresh air on a nice summer's day. A very unique option you can choose for this Jaguar F-Pace really emphasises its ability to improve your lifestyle or make your lifestyle a lot easier, and this is from the optional extra called the activity key. Now what this allows is you to lock the real keys inside the vehicle and then put on this little wristband, which is just a bit like a Fitbit, although it doesn't tell the time, and then you can go do all activities. It's shockproof and waterproof, so you can go swimming, go climbing or whatever, come back to the car, tap it on just here and unlock the whole car like that. So it really is a very unique proposition to this car, and it's certainly a great selling point over its competitors. Now, a bit like the activity key, there is another optional extra that makes having this Jaguar F-Pace just a bit easier and a bit more stress-free. You can actually get Jaguar branded dash cams fitted in the front of the car and in the rear window as part of an optional pack, so you don't need to go to Halfords and have wires sort of plugged in everywhere and trickling around and draining your battery and everything like that. And they have the Jaguar branding embossed, and they just sit very nice and hidden. So if you want to just have the factory fitted dash cam from the factory, that is totally possible. Now, you thought diesel was dead, right? Well, not in the case of the F-Pace, and I think that's for a good reason. So this one we have here is the entry-level D200 all-wheel drive, so it comes with all-wheel drive as standard. Now, you may be thinking, 2 litre diesel, it's a little bit boring, but I have to say, it has 0 to 62 time of 8.2 seconds, up to 62 miles per hour, but more importantly, it has 430 newton meters of torque. So it does have plenty of pulling power, enabling pretty effortless performance. All this is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Under the boot of the floor, there's also a mild hybrid technology that's sort of in most cars these days. But what that does is just sort of takes some of the roughness out of the diesel on startup, and it just sort of aids in pulling away, and it really does sort of improve the refinement levels of this Ingenium 2 litre diesel engine. So yeah, in terms of economy, Jaguar claim on the WLTP newer regulations, which are obviously much more realistic than the older guidelines, around 43 miles per gallon, and I can confirm they've basically hit that bang on. Average on the car since it was new is 43.4 on this trick computer here, but on the longer run it is possible to get into the 50s on the miles per gallon. You can go for one of Jaguar and Land Rover's sort of renowned 3-litre diesels, which of course is a 6-cylinder, so it's a little bit smoother and has much more effortless poke. There's also a couple of petrol options as well, but this diesel engine, the adequate performance it has, it's the fact that it's relatively refined, and the fact that it's pretty good on fuel efficiency for such a large and heavy car. You know, I really would just recommend this entry-level D200 variant. It's cheaper, still got 4-wheel drive, and I think you'll be more than happy with it. Interestingly enough, I've actually driven a Jaguar F-Pace on track. It's actually a D200 2-litre diesel with the same engine, same power output as this, and it's actually at the test track that the Grand Tour had. You know, the one where they had the Jaguar F-Type with the sort of the gravel section. That one there didn't go on the gravel section, but it's still a really nice track. And I was actually really impressed with the way this Jaguar F-Pace SUV went around the corners. There was very little body roll. Now, of course, when this car was originally launched, that was sort of its key selling point, really. It was designed as more of the sporty of the sports utility vehicles, and I can confirm in the way it sort of dealt with the cornering situations and the responsiveness of the steering and everything like that, it certainly did not impress. And the 2-litre diesel got us up to pretty nice speeds up the straights as well. So I can certainly say it does not wallow absolutely awfully like you may assume a large SUV like this does. So then, what's the final verdict of testing this Jaguar F-Pace over the past week? Well, I've certainly enjoyed it, and I know SUVs aren't for everyone, but this is certainly a special one. And some of those unique features that I've mentioned that you can get with this Jaguar F-Pace certainly set it away from the crowd. So, certainly take a look at it. It looks great as well, and I think the package on offer is very impressive.